Martin just doesn't want Smitty to put more people's lives at risk. Derek did end up dead because of the impaler, which was still such a cop out. What is up, everybody? Here to talk about today's Tuesday episode of Beyond the Gates, which I gotta say was pretty boring. It did literally almost put me to sleep today because I was already tired. I need to start watching the show before bed since I could be quite an insomniac. It might actually help me out. But let's break down some of the actual storylines. We started with Chelsea and Kat meeting up. Chelsea, of course, still thinks that Allison is stalking her, but Isaiah ends up interrupting both of them before Kat could tell her some maybe good news that she got from Jacob. Kat is surprised to see Isaiah since fall semester is about to start and he works at Banneker. They end up talking about Tyrell's heartbreak, which leads to Chelsea worrying how heartbreak can, what heartbreak can do to people. It could cause them crazy because she's still worried about Allison. But when Isaiah leaves, Kat finally gives Chelsea the good news that Allison is still locked up and that they're going to be searching her room for a phone. Chelsea is thankful to Kat that she went to Jacob for her. Kat saying that Allison will never bother Chelsea again. But we did get a bit of a cliffhanger, I guess, with Allison at the end. We see her in her facility room writing a letter to her loving wife, Chelsea. I forgot that Allison, when she went cuckoo and kidnapped Chelsea, it was so that they could marry. I wonder if this is just going to be the show's very slow build to Allison really returning when it's time for Chelsea and Madison's wedding come May. I can see this Allison storyline building for the next 9 months. But we did get to see Allison, and this was not the first letter she wrote to Chelsea. We see that she had others in her room. Obviously, none of these ever sent to Chelsea. I do like Allison's style of crazy, so hopefully it gives us something exciting maybe. Vanessa started this episode bringing Joey an idea about a high roller suite at the casino. I don't really care about that. Does anybody? Smitty and Martin were walking into Uptown and Heather was there and saw them and decided to introduce herself to them. Of course, she knows Martin, the congressman, but she, of course, says hi to Smitty too. And she plays it off like she's also very interested in Smitty's work and Smitty's articles. And Smitty liked that she was interested in his work and not just in Martin being a congressman like usual. Randy was there because, as we know, he's been spying on Heather. And when Heather is leaving, Randy calls Joey to tell him that Heather was just chatting up Martin and Smitty, but she just left. This concerns Joey because Heather told Joey that she would love to take out Smitty for writing those articles on the Impaler, which is her. Now, of course, in typical Randy fashion, he is found out already not doing a very good job when it comes to whatever Joey wants him to do. So when Randy walks outside, Heather is there and knows that Randy has been following her and calls him out for following her for days. She also knows that he is Randy and works for her brother Joey. Randy says he was just doing his job. She says that she's going to see Joey and he could follow her there. Meanwhile, back inside, Smitty is left thinking that the public really, really wants the Impaler brought to justice. So he's going to continue to ramp up that investigation. So I have to assume that we are kind of in for a Heather versus Smitty in some capacity. Obviously, Heather has the advantage because she knows him and he doesn't know that she is the Impaler. Martin just doesn't want Smitty to put more people's lives at risk. Derek did end up dead because of the Impaler, which was still such a cop-out. And it doesn't do what this storyline is trying to do justice in making Heather seem so dangerous, because Derek died via accident. It's not like the Impaler, aka Heather, set out to kill him. But Martin and Smitty returned home, and they had the house for themselves so they could have some sex. Andre and Dani were together. Andre was laying on the compliments very thick. They end up kissing. Vanessa eventually interrupts. Vanessa discusses her casino renovations, but that leads to Heather coming up in conversation and how Joey doesn't get along with his sister. We know that Andre knows Heather. Obviously, Vanessa and Dani don't know that. So Andre kind of warning them about Heather seems pretty random to them. But he is saying that they need to be more careful letting strangers close because people pretend who they are. Vanessa just thinks that Andre is worried about this Heather girl because she's Joey's sister and she knows people have certain thoughts about Joey, and Vanessa doesn't want people to have those kinds of thoughts about Joey. Typical Vanessa, turning everything about Joey. But Andre decides to leave after giving his warning, which has Dani spiraling. Dani thinks that Andre is acting strange because he is still bothered by Dani and Bill being close again. Dani freaks and is like, what if Andre found out what happened in the elevator? If only. That would mean the storyline's moving and we would have some actual drama. But Vanessa calmed Dani's fears and said that Andre was all over Dani when Vanessa first came in. Dani wants to find out what is really going on with Andre, so maybe, as a lot of you suspect in the comments, Dani will probably find out about Heather before Andre finds out about Bill and Dani's elevator sex. Heather ends up going to the casino and seeing Joey. Joey asked why Heather was chatting up Smitty. She asked if he was having her followed. Obviously, she knows that, though. She told Joey to relax. She is not after Smitty. So Joey wants to know the real reason that she is still in town then, since she was supposed to be going back to London. But she never really did go back to London. Heather says there is a guy she likes and lives in the area, and she wouldn't mind rekindling with that guy. Joey told her to scratch that itch and leave, and that's when Heather got a text from Andre and told Joey that he just manifested the best shag of her life. I assume we'll get follow-up to Heather and Andre tomorrow or maybe Thursday or something. Randy came in and apologized to Joey after Heather left, basically apologizing for getting caught. Joey is not surprised. None of us should be surprised with Randy's work. He's only been able to kill Annette, of course. That was the only thing he's been able to do, which was one of the worst writing decisions on this show. But Joey said that he will be the one to take care of his sister from now on. Tyrell and Samantha were with June at Orphe Jeans today. June can tell that Tyrell is not happy to be starting college. June ends up sitting with her children and talking about how her little baby is becoming a grown man, but they talk about how Banneker is close, and Samantha points that out, saying that June can still visit, and Tyrell does want visitors while he is off in college. June learns that Jessica dumped Tyrell, which of course led to more talk of heartbreak and how Tyrell's going through that. I still don't love the fact that Jessica and Tyrell's relationship went out with no kind of drama. Like, literally, this is another great example of this show being allergic to drama. Like, it went out with like a little splash of water. Jessica and Tyrell's breakup. Half of it happened off screen. Surprise, surprise. Isaiah came in and joked about how Tyrell looks like he's getting started early on his freshman 15 because he's eating big at Orphe Jeans. Isaiah also gave Tyrell a pep talk. And then June had a gift for Tyrell. It was something her sister Regina found in a box. It was a picture of Tyrell and Samantha when they were just young kids with June. A picture of them all together, which was cute. And then Tyrell told June that he loves her. So they had a nice heart to heart here as mother and son. Where these characters were last summer, it was when they were just really learning about June and that June was their parents. They've came a long way in a year, getting along so well now. So it is heartwarming, I suppose, but like the episode as a whole today could have had some drama. But what else is new? I do think today was one of those certainly boring episodes of Beyond the Gates.